Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and we are back here in New York, live, day before the 4th of July. The New York Mets are off, at least on the field. But before we get into that, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut and like this video and let me know what you think about this. And here we go. We have a trade. It's not a great trade. I got a great idea. I'm Billy Epler. I'm having a lot of trouble with my starting pitching. I'm having a lot of trouble with my bullpen. Why not? I got a great idea. Imagine Tim telling Buck Showalter, telling Steve Cohen, I got a great idea, Steve. Listen to this. Let's bring back the worst pitcher in Mets history. Well, funny you should mention. Who's the worst pitcher in Mets history according to, qualified 50 innings in the big leagues? Well, that is, of course, Chris Flexen. Well, it's funny you should mention Chris Flexen because the Mets just made a trade, according to the Munchkin, Ken Rosenthal. Now, I call him the Munchkin because he's a very short guy. If you've seen pictures of him, he's a little guy. But he tweeted this out just a little while ago. The Mets have acquired Chris Flexen and Trevin Gott from the Mariners for lefty Zach Muckenhirn. Sources tell at The Athletic. Now, Chris Flexen, like I said, one of the worst pitchers, probably the worst pitcher in Mets history. Over the course of 3 seasons with the New York Mets, he pitched 27 games, 11 starts, 68 innings, gave up 69 runs, 61 earned runs, 14 home runs in those 68 innings, 54 walks. Let me say it again. 54 walks in 68 innings in the 3 seasons he was with the New York Mets, and 49 strikeouts. His walks per 9 innings in the 3 years that he was with the New York Mets, 7.1 walk per 9 inning. What? Let me say it again. 7 walks per 9 inning in the 3 years that he pitched for the Mets off and on. His whip during his time with the New York Mets is 2.132. That means walks and hits per 9 innings. That meant that he had 2.132 base runners on every inning. Holy shit. Or every 9 innings. Holy crap. With an ERA of 8.07. I'll tell you, Billy Epler, he better have these analytics properly calibrated to get this to work this time around. Now, last week, Chris was pitching with the Seattle Mariners, and I will say this, he has pitched really well since he came back from Korea. And I say it like that, it's from Seinfeld, Korea. And he came back from Korea, and he's pitched actually quite well in 21. He won 14 games with the Mariners 2 years ago, and he pitched actually quite well last year. However, this year is a totally different story. He's gone back to the Mets, Chris Flexen. And his ERA this year is 7.71. Prior to that was under 4. But this year is 7.71. It's just to get him ready to come back to Citi Field and pitch for the Mets again. And 17 games this year, he's pitched 42 innings, 59 hits, 36 runs earned. 11 home runs. 11 home runs in 42 innings. That's pretty good. Holy shit. 19 walks. Now, he had not been walking too many batters the last 2 years. In 21, he walked 2.0 walks per 9 inning and 3.3 walks per 9 inning. And this year's 4.1. He's not quite ready yet for the company. Not quite ready. Maybe they need to send him down to Syracuse to get those walks up a little bit. But now this is not a deal that's gonna this is meant to give the Mets a little bit of help in that bullpen. I guess they kind of look at him as a guy that can be a long man. A long man? Yes, a long man, believe it or not. Now, I did say on the Baseball Hut, too, which you need to subscribe to, that the Mariners were going to start making trades. You asked Jerry DePoto, Jerry, hello, you want to make a trade? Yes or no? Oh, it's always yes. Okay, Jerry. How about this? We'll send you Muckenhirn, you send us Chris Flexen. Yes, the worst pitcher in Mets history. Send him back to us. Okay, Billy, you got a deal. Click. And, he got off the phone. And this is Jerry. He gets back on the phone with Billy. Billy, would you like something else? It seemed kind of weird that you only want a Muck and Hurt for Chris Flexen. I'll send you Trevor Gott. Now let me show you his numbers. Or I'll just read them to you. Now he's pitched in the big leagues. This is Trevor Gott. For 8 years. He has bounced around. He's bounced around more than a ping pong ball, this guy. He's pitched for the Angels, the Washington Nationals, the Giants, and the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Mariners. Now, the last 2 years, his numbers haven't been too bad. They've been a little bit better than they have been overall in his career. The numbers overall in his career have been pretty brutal. I'm not too enamored with this. This is kind of just the back end of the bullpen kind of thing. I would expect that this guy will take over, bring in someone else. Well, we brought in Trevor Gott. And, or they'll get rid of Dominic Leone. These are the kind of moves that Billy Epler is not too famous for. Is bringing in this run-of-the-mill bad relievers, bad starting pitchers, guys that have been terrible. This is what he's known for. And he is not disappointed. He's not disappointed with this wonderful trade. Now, Muck and Hurt is left-handed. He was really pretty much useless, other than having a rather interesting name. He was really another guy that Billy brought in that really couldn't get anybody out. They mentioned during the Met game that the Met bullpens really missed Seth Lugo, and in particular Trevor Williams. It's funny. They bring in Chris Flexen, who is kind of is being looked upon as a guy that can go more than 2 or 3 innings and maybe save the bullpen and save the starters. Especially if you take out David. I gotta take David. This is Buck's whole attitude. I gotta take out David Peterson in the after 4 innings. You know why? Because I just don't think he can handle more than 4 innings. So I guess he's got to bring in Chris Flexen to be a complete total disaster, But anyway, these are the kind of moves that Epler's known for, is to bring in this mediocre pitching. Now, I haven't seen announcements as I'm doing this video if the Mets have announced it yet, or if the Mariners have announced it yet. I don't know Trevor Gott, just to sort of before I forget. I've not seen him. Maybe I haven't, I don't remember. But looking at these numbers, he's a run-of-the-mill guy, sort of like Dominic Leone. Jeff, bring him out of here. Get him out of here. Do whatever the hell you have to do, not to have to see him again. So that this is another one of these moves. It's just garbage in, garbage out. No offense to these guys as people, but as pitchers, garbage in, garbage out. Now it also tells you that the Mets are not ready to sell just yet. To sort of add on to this wonderful trade, the Mets are taking on the rest of the contract for Chris Flexen, who he was getting $8 million, believe it or not. So instead of the Mariners taking the rest of the contract, the Mets have to take the rest of the contract. Great job, Billy. Great job. This is a great trade. But yeah, then they've been doing. First of all, the Escobar deal said one thing. Now they're saying, which we all kind of thought, I thought anyway, that they were getting ready to sell. Now they make this deal. Now it's like, well, I need Chris Flexen here. I need to have him back with the Mets, pitching staff. Maybe if I get Jeremy Hefner, there won't be any problems with Jeremy Hefner teaching him how to throw strikes. And he's not going to give up any home runs. No. In the 6 years Chris Flexen has been pitched in the major leagues, and 108 games and 68 starts, he has given up 61 home runs. Think about that. And 21 when he pitched for the Mariners, which is his best year. We won 14 games and 31 starts, 179 and 2/3 innings to give up 19 home runs. What? This guy gives up contact. You know one thing. I swear to God, you better hope. We got to pray every time he takes that mound that he keeps that ball in the ballpark and that he hits it to the Mets infield. And the Mets infield's been kind of shaky, been a little, shaky of late, the last month or two. he better make sure that they make contact. He better not walk anybody. He better keep those fucking walks down, or he's going to get hit. And as you know, Jeremy Hefner's been so good at making sure that the Mets don't walk any batters or give up any home runs. What's the worst that could happen? Out of here. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. This is a disaster. I can't. And here's the thing. Like I said, this is not a trade where the Mets gave up anything. They had DFA'd Muckenhern last night. But this is not inspirational. This does not make me feel good a month from now. As it makes me feel like they're going to hold on to all these players. Don't hold on to them. Get them out of here. Okay? They've shown enough to me that they haven't earned the right to keep this group together. Get them out of here. Well, I have to get out of here before I lose my mind. Chris Flexen back with the Mets. The worst pitcher in the history of the New York Mets. Just think about that for a second. And I would hope that you subscribe to the Baseball Hut. God help us. What kind of nonsense does this general manager have up his sleeve next? Is he going to bring back Jason Bay? Is Jason Bay going to be an extra bat off the bench? I mean, holy shit. All right, so I finished the video. I read a couple of tweets. I had to sort of put this at the end of this video. It seems that the Mets are going to designate for assignment Chris Flexen because that's what they plan on doing, just so they get Trevor Gott. Trevor Gott is a journeyman. What the fuck? What kind of trade is this? I know that the talk has been that the Mets would take on bad contracts to get a pitcher that they want, but Trevor Gott, he's been, like I said in this video, he's been with 6 teams in his career. And he hasn't been a guy that's lights out, and he's just reading on stuff. Lefties kill him, so you can't use him against a left-handed pitcher. He's a right-handed specialist. What the hell, man? What kind of trade is this? This is a terrible trade. It makes no sense. So let me get this straight. You trade a guy that you're going to DFA anyway, and Muckenhern. You trade him to a team, and you bring back one guy who you had in your organization who's considered the worst pitcher in the history of your team, and you bring back another guy who is a journeyman reliever. What the hell is going on with the New York Mets? And that, again, this general manager is a mess. He's a disaster. This makes no sense. Makes no sense. Well, let me know what you think about this. Oh, my God. God help us, really, like I said at the other part of this video.